Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're talking the flip. Big thanks to John Crete, a chap that commented yesterday on a video that I did about what is the flip. I know John, given him a few golf lessons. Thanks for that, John. The flip is arguably one of the most talked about areas of the golf swing down at impact. If you aren't familiar what the flip is, it is perceived, and I use the word perceived, as a negative influence of when the golf club through strike, the hands roll over, or should I say, the toe overtakes the heel of the golf club. Now, there are a lot of golf coaches out there that talk about rate of closure, or the flip, or hand release. Let's not go there with that, people. Let's get our minds out of the gutter. And they reference this as a negative influence on contact, on impact conditioning. And it was brought on by Nick Faldo and David back in the day when they talked about how they want to make the face passive through strike. Well, that was certainly when it was brought to my attention and my awareness. Now, I worked with a really very good golfer. I'm not going to name who he is, but I've seen some videos where the club face was coming into the golf ball, this open, and the message was less release of the golf club to make the face nice and passive, and that person, let's say, he didn't play very well. Anyhow, we need to understand what the flip, release, under release, over release, call it, label it what you will. We need to understand what the release, the unload of the golf club is all about. Now, hopefully, we all agree that this golf club has a heavy end and a light end. I'm in business today, guys and girls, because I'm in the Tiger Woods outfit and I want to dispel this absolute myth that's sending people down dark alleys and making them worse golfers for it. So hold on tight here. So we've got the heavy end and we've got the light end. Now, this heavy end, whether you like it or not, will give you more power when it has a greater swing down the bottom. So if I had a golf club that had no set and I was just one long lever, that would be less powerful than a golf club that has set and unset. The club sets up, the club unloads and then swings up the other side. Now, I've just created two motions there, one with no set, one with lots of set. I'm just going to pull up the distances of those two swings or shots and the club head speed. The first one, 50.3. The second one, 60.1.3. Therefore, you can appreciate that the one with set and unset, the swinging influence, I gained 10 miles an hour more speed, close to 20% increase. Therefore, excuse me, we cannot do without wrist set for the most of us. There are outliers to this rule of thumb. Someone like a Steve Stricker, he was someone that underset the golf club, didn't have too much wrist set. He was someone that lost his game, found a way, he found a way without less set, or found a way with less set. That is an outlier. And there's been a few along the way. A Paul Azinger, not a big setter of the golf club, but the lion's share of golfers have a decent amount of set of the golf club. Some people set it early, some people set it late. Two good examples, someone like a Mark O'Meara, he had an early set, someone like a Davis Love had a late set. But whether you like it or not, the golf club has got set. So that's dealing with the hinge. The hinge has now been loaded. Let's just call it a 90 degree, 100 degree or 110 degree angle between the arm and the shaft. Now, when we pull the golf club into the golf ball, and this implement, and I call it an implement because the minute the golfing brain gets involved and then we start to go down the avenue of seeking advice from failed golf players, and I mean that not from a, well, it sounds disparaging and I don't mean it to be, but you go down a route where a golf coach tells you not to make the face square up and he can't keep the golf ball on the golf course, and there are some high-level golf coaches that I know that cannot keep the golf ball on the golf course, and yet they're preaching this sort of stuff. It makes me really furious, because if you can't do it, then how the heck can an amateur that's of a lesser ability, purely from having not played it at a young age and not turned pro, how can you not perform what you're setting out to deliver to another, or a lesser golfer, shall we say? So the golf club has set and is trying to unset. And the reason, as I say, reason why I call it an implement is because as soon as we apply the golfing brain, we start to go down this journey of what we need the face to look like. And let me tell you, all you need to do is move and swing the club in a way that makes that face reliably turn up straight. Now, if you've got a club that's swinging at times 120 miles an hour with a driver, or 90, 70, 80, 60, 50, 40, that's still very fast down at the bottom, and you think you have an opportunity to corrupt that face in a position and be efficient, you, my friends, are living in cuckoo land. Because if this implement is swinging quickly, you better just let it swing. Just let that thing do what it wants to do. And I'm talking about the handle end, the club head end. The handle end needs the freedom to make that head swing. So we've established that this lever, the left arm and the club shaft, has a hinge in between it, and that club sets up and unsets. And when it unsets, that face will pass through a point when it's coming into the golf ball, as I've got some set in the golf club, and most people are looking for lag on the way down, let's say. Check out my video on lag if you haven't seen it. That golf club has set on the way down, and then the club unsets and then sets back up the other side. Depending on how much set you've got, and depending on the orientation of your golf grip on the golf club, and depending on whether the handle is forwards or the handle is in the delivery phase of the golf swing, will dictate whether this face is looking at you or looking at the golf ball. So I'm going to set the golf club. I'm now going to move the handle towards the golf ball. Watch where the club face points. The club face points back at you more, or even up to the sky. Now I'm going to move the handle back in, back towards me. Look how the face now looks more down to the floor. So the orientation of this handle is making the impact of the face point either down to the ball or up to the sky. But my grip has stayed the same, the angles have stayed the same, but the handle has moved forwards or backwards. So therefore, if you're a guy or a girl that has a handle that's forwards, or a handle that's in, or a grip that's weak, or a grip that's strong, you could have 4 different, at the very least, 4 different orientations of your club face coming into the golf ball. At the moment, I'm making it sound complicated, but I promise you, this is the precursor to making you understand how simple this is down at strike. and what you need to do to make it simple down at strike. You can't therefore blanket a feel of trying to make your club unload, and then what we're talking about here with people with release and flip, and John Creek's question in the comments was, when I was demonstrating the club unloading and the club head moving first, the loft is looking up. I didn't turn the loft down. I turned the loft up. Now, in most people's eyes, this would be seen as a flip, and this would be classed as an under-release, a golf club that is unloaded and under-released. So when I come back into the golf ball, depending on where the handle is and where the grip is, will dictate how much that face either looks to the sky or looks down to the golf ball. Wherever you are with your grip, wherever you are with your handle forwards or backwards, making the golf club swing to its maximum will ultimately deliver the fastest amount of club head speed that you will possibly have the chance to achieve. But this is making sure that we have a decent amount of load on the shaft on the way down. When that club unloads, whether you unload the golf club underneath or whether you unload the golf club with toe down, matters not a jot, people. Because ultimately, you have designed that release pattern to whatever you do. Now, if you are someone that hits the ball to the right and you have a look through strike where the toe is pointing down, for heaven's sake, please, please, please do not change your impact condition. Your impact condition is saving you. The symptom is the impact condition. If the face was open coming into strike and then you toe it down, you unload it down, that is trying to make the face come back to the golf ball straight. If my face was open and I held off and I made the loft look up, look where the ball went. Went off at 45 degrees. So the release pattern, how the club unloads, and what I mean by that, whether the toe overtakes the heel or the heel leads the toe, is dependent on what loft angle and face orientation you have coming into the golf ball, which is determined by a lot of things. But the minute you start messing around with how the club unloads will be the day that your golf gets worse, my friends. I truly, truly believe that. So when you start faffing around with Tommy Fleetwood umbrella finishes, you best make sure that you've got yourself in a delivery motion that can accept that. Do not go searching for stopping the flip. The flip is saving you, is helping you. It's really, really important that you understand that. So I've hopefully given you some insight into what flip is, what an under release is. There's more to come on this, there's more to come on everything. I've got so much to cover. But hopefully you can appreciate the importance of understanding what flip is, what an under release is, and how this golf club head will react through strike depending on where you are orientated in space, how you hold the golf club to make that golf ball go straight. Hopefully you found this video useful. I think you agree that's good coaching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.